we just crack straight on. You haven't got anything for the display today, then?
Oh, bugger. I'll bet. Maybe 2 secs. I'll see how that. My screen's really small. Can you see those?
Yeah, just about. Yeah,
Okay.
I can't quite make out. I can make. Is it Qui Gon
And oh, wait a minute.
and?
My mic's in the way, isn't it? And the Darth Sidious.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's a bit better. Cool.
Nice. Okay, welcome to a long and long time ago. I'm Adam. I'm joined by Martyn, as always.
Hello there.
Very good. We've just come straight out of watching the finale of Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
A few things happened that we, based on if you've watched our pre-finale chat, you'll see that we got a few things right, I think.
Yeah, I'd say for the
as
most
expected.
part.
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah, definitely.
And no R2D2 or anything, but
No.
we got yeah.
Well, we got the two main cameos that we were after. That was the main thing.
That's it. Yeah. So, have you got any thoughts then? Well, in fact, I'll start the episode just because, it kind of leads on quite nicely from the penultimate show, episode 5, part 5. They are sitting ducks up there on that ship with the path. They got no hyperdrive engine, and then straight away it kicks in with Vader on his ship. Which ship is he on? Do you know?
The Devastator, is it? I think it's the Devastator. Yeah, fairly sure that's what it's called.
Yeah, and first thing they're doing is firing a barrage of, of lasers at them.
Yeah,
and trying to take them down, which is good.
What were your overall thoughts before we get into breaking it down a little bit?
I feel like it could have been better. I feel like there were many parts in it that were almost unnecessary.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're fresh from watching it, so it's quite difficult to, you got to go back in your head and try and remember everything. There were moments that I really enjoyed, and moments that I was like, why didn't you just do this? Which I feel like we've said quite a few times in across our series.
Yes, I totally agree with everything you just said. I think it's difficult because usually before we do this, I'll watch it at least twice.
Yeah,
and it's usually on the second time. I'm not suffering as I'm probably suffering from right now, the weight of expectations. So I go into these episodes and I've got what I expect in my mind, and of course, what I have in my mind after 40 years of watching Star Wars is never ever going to compete, with what actually we get to see. So I'm with you, but I'm certain. I mean, I'm 100% sure that after a second viewing, maybe a third viewing, I'll be totally on board with that episode. I think at the moment there were some amazing parts, and there were some parts where I was like, I would have perhaps liked to have seen a bit more time spent with Vader than perhaps as much time as we spent on Tatooine. That being said, I did quite enjoy the Tatooine moments, and I was surprised they interwove them with.
I am, that's in a way that's kind of part of my issue, I suppose, that I had with the episode straight off the bat. But because we were in that lightsaber battle between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, and then halfway through, it just cuts out over to Tatooine, which is fine. I get they're trying to tell that story at the same time. You've got to have the two stories running, but it was just we were like building up and we were really enjoying the lightsaber battle, and then it's like, okay, we're going to this now.
Yeah, I think as we were watching it together, I think I said, didn't I, at one point, I'll go back to the lightsaber battle.
Yeah, I think you did.
But after mulling it again, see, this is what happens after I mull things over. I've come to realize that's Star Wars. How many times do you watch the movies? And they never just have one fight going on. They always intertwine between different battles. So you could argue that that's actually Star Wars, what they put on the screen. So of course, we want to see more Vader and Obi-Wan because, we love Vader and Obi-Wan. But at the same time, I can understand why they did it that way, because that's how Star Wars is edited together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't, after mulling it over, I'm again starting to think, okay, actually, I would have preferred it if they'd shown it all of the Vader stuff and then gone to Tatooine afterwards. But actually, it works both ways, I think. So
yeah. Like you say, I think after a second or third watch, you might find it's not that difficult or whatever to get on board with. But
definitely.
So yeah, should we go through it from our vague memory of how?
Absolutely. We'll have to.
So I really enjoyed the fact that they did kick straight off with Vader just blasting them from his ship. I thought that's pretty cool. Now they've got a reason to sort of get out of it, and it was obvious that Obi-Wan was going to, distract him. An issue that I did have was the Grand Inquisitor was right, essentially, wasn't he? And I think couldn't have Vader followed Obi-Wan whilst his ship went off and carried on after the
that's a good point. Guys. I didn't think of that. They could have taken the Star Destroyer.
Yeah, I just thought maybe that's what they should have done, but obviously we know that Leia survives one way or another, and we know the Grand Inquisitor survives for a little bit longer as well. So
yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think of that. I think, but I suppose you could. We don't know how long they followed Obi-Wan for, because he was obviously flying in the opposite direction, and those shuttles have a short range on them. So again, I'm creating excuses for the writers here a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
it's got to be done.
It's got to be done. But I mean, I really enjoyed that initial first 5 minutes or so when they're chasing them down. I mean, it gave me some great A New Hope vibes, episode 4 vibes, where they're chasing the Tantive 4. And I was when Obi-Wan took off in the shuttle, I was at any moment expecting him to get pulled in with the tractor beam, just like the Tantive 4 was. I really enjoyed that. And I thought, again, Vader's obsession with Obi-Wan has basically caused the Empire to not actually. They could have pretty much
sealed it there.
Sealed it. Yeah, I mean, there would have been more Force sensitives and Jedi out there, but they would have stopped the organization. But I think that was obviously an important moment, and they made it quite important, didn't they? Because they needed everyone to see that Vader's obsessions, what's actually, his downfall at the end of the day.
Which they do say at the end, essentially, don't they?
Yeah.
So Sidious says about it. We'll get to that. What I was going to say is the way he left all of the people from the path, the final sort of moments, we didn't see them again. Apart from Leia, we didn't see them again.
No.
I feel like they did set it up for the Andor series, or for a series at least. Maybe not necessarily Andor, but
off the top of my head, I think Andor takes place perhaps around about the same time as this, or perhaps a couple of years after this. So we could well see some of those characters again.
The reason I say that is I felt like they built those characters and they didn't sort of give them a goodbye as such. No. So I think they're going to make another appearance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, there could be a series about the path. I think, as we'll get onto later, I mean, there's a chance that Reva could turn up and help the path. Her redemption story, if you like.
Yeah.
So there was a couple of characters in there that were, especially O'Shea Jackson Jr. I think his name was. What was his character's name? Roken. Well done, Adam. I think that he definitely was a strong enough character to perhaps see again in the future.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. I think Haja was, a secondary figure that will make another appearance.
Yeah,
I almost like they work together.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about him. I think he was just a bit of a comic relief character. I don't think we'll see him.
I feel like he's affiliated with him now. I think we
maybe.
might.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. But I did enjoy his character, but I wouldn't be devastated if I didn't see it again.
Fair enough.
So I mean, obviously, then we head down to the planet, and
Unknown rocky planet.
No idea what that planet's called.
No.
Obviously, I'll do my research. I'm sure we've seen it somewhere before, or it's in a book or a comic.
Cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's talk about the duel.
Yeah. Well, it didn't last as long as we were hoping, I don't think.
No, I think it was pretty
but
epic.
It was really well done.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, all I've got is positives.
Yes, they showed the similarities to the last episode of them training, in that training montage.
Yes.
Together. There were very, noticeable similarities there.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, there was some great prequel style fighting. There was some great A New Hope sort of callbacks with the way they were fighting. There was some great use of the Force. The moment when Obi-Wan picks up all the rocks and throws them at Vader was absolutely brilliant. Watching Vader sort of trying to deflect them, but that also reminded me of The Last Jedi when Rey lifts up all the rocks to help the Resistance escape from that base. So that reminded me of that. Oh, I can't remember the name of it.
But I also thought it was nice that they continued like with the brutality of Vader by crushing Obi-Wan under the basically burying him alive.
Which he had the high ground.
He did, which was brilliant. Like he didn't, they didn't have to mention it, but it was clear that that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
And
it was great. It was great.
And then he used the Force to absolutely bury him, which was sort of indicative of his character throughout this series, wasn't it?
Yes, he walks away, and you kind of you think to yourself, well,
you've done that before. Don't you just want to make sure this time?
Yeah. Although maybe that's part, he doesn't really want to kill him, because obviously the Emperor questions him on that. Do you really want to kill him? So maybe he did. And I think the thing that defeats Vader in the end of the fight is his overconfidence, and it's just a great. I mean, there's so many great callbacks from lines in the original trilogy. There's obviously Luke who says to the Emperor, "Your overconfidence is your weakness."
Yeah.
And the Emperor answers back, "Your faith in your friends is yours." Well, I mean, you could argue that scene there was absolutely, to use your word, indicative of that scene, because Vader gets so overconfident that he thinks he can play around with Obi-Wan.
He's not dealing with a Reaver here.
No, exactly, and he's not dealing with Obi-Wan from episode 3 either. Because in part 3 of this show.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
but he says that, doesn't he? He says your powers are much stronger now.
Yes,
or something to the words to that effect.
Yeah. I mean, we're not doing this in order at all, but I mean,
absolutely not. No.
But I mean, there were so many great things. There was the Obi-Wan pose with the lightsaber over his shoulder and the point. There was just.
Have you where in what films?
He does that
series. Have we seen it?
He's done that in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
when he's about to take on Grievous, and he's done it obviously pretty much in every fight in the Clone Wars. And I think when you see old Ben in Rebels, he does it when he faces off against Darth Maul. Whoops.
I see. Yeah, I haven't seen any of that. I haven't got to any of that yet.
No. So you've got that to look forward to.
Yeah.
And other things that just pop into mind: Vader landing the Tidarian shuttles are probably my second favorite vehicle in Star Wars, and seeing one of those come down and him walk down the ramp, just like you see him in Return of the Jedi, that was awesome. There's the direction of the fighting was absolutely beautiful. That initial scene where they're fighting out on the plains and there's the moonlight in the background and all you can see is the two figures fighting. That was absolutely incredible. Really, really good stuff.
Excellent filmography there.
Yes, absolutely. Cinematography, maybe.
Cinematography.
So that was absolutely brilliant. When Obi-Wan finally does get on top of the situation and starts to smash in his control panel that controls his breathing, that was pretty brutal.
But it was perfect, wasn't it? He knew exactly what he needed to do.
absolutely.
And I think, I don't know if you'd agree with me on this, but the way he lightsabered his helmet,
Yeah,
lightsabed, is that a thing?
yeah.
Could that be how he completed that scar? How he got that scar on that you showed us at the end, or in one of our previous
Oh
podcasts?
no, the one
Or
that
is
sort of
that
starts on the top of his head
and
about
comes
there and
down?
then comes back. That
Yeah,
was there from Revenge of the Sith.
it was it? I couldn't
Yeah,
remember. Yeah.
it, he didn't actually get him in the face.
Mm,
I think he just hit the helmet. But
mm.
yeah, I mean that was awesome.
But
And I
getting
mean,
to that, yeah,
yeah,
I was
he
going to
got
say.
he got into just previous to that he slashed him across the back, didn't he? So he actually got
Yeah,
him across the back.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean that was absolutely fantastic.
yeah,
So yeah, I really really enjoyed that. And then we also got what we were hoping for, was some nice meaty dialogue
yeah,
between the two of them.
yeah. It was like followed, well, calling him Anakin the whole time,
Yeah,
and yeah,
it
Vader
was.
saying, "I have killed Anakin."
Oh, yeah, that was
Was
it. Brilliant. You
yeah,
didn't kill Anakin. I did.
yeah.
And without Vader realizing, he's kind of helped Obi-Wan by saying that, because then Obi-Wan can let
It's
go of the
peace for him.
responsibility. Yeah,
Mm,
he can let go of the responsibility that thinks he's got for actually Anakin becoming what he's become. And
mm.
I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
It's very good. Yeah, yeah,
So that also enables Obi-Wan in the future movies to turn around to Luke and say he's more machine now than man, twisted and evil.
mm.
You know, there was what else he said in The New Hope. He says a young Jedi who was a pupil of mine until he turned to evil helped the Empire hunt down and destroy the Jedi Knights.
Yeah,
He can say that now to Luke without feeling guilty. I think
yeah, yeah,
that he's lying to him, because Anakin himself has said Vader himself has said I killed Anakin.
yeah.
So again, from a certain point of view,
Mm.
Obi-Wan is telling Luke the truth. And I thought that was another amazing bit of writing that they put in to sort of link together with the original trilogy.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And going back to the helmet being smashed up, the dialect there with the part James Earl Jones and part
Yes.
Hayden Christensen was
Brilliant.
great, wasn't it?
Absolutely brilliant.
The way
Yeah.
they did that,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
No, that was excellent. Again, linking the two trilogies together, making it one. It's
Mm.
it's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I'm sure there's so much more that I've forgotten about, because, as I
Yeah,
say, we've literally just stopped watching it and
yeah,
have started doing this straight away.
yeah,
And we're probably missing loads of really great moments and probably some dialogue, but they were the bits that popped out. And there was one thing I noticed that, as we watched it together, we didn't really react all that much, did
no,
we?
no,
But there was a few big reactions, but I was concentrating so much because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. And there was one thing I picked up on, is when Obi-Wan's talking to Vader, when he's got his mask smashed open,
yeah,
and you can see Anakin's eyes, or Vader's eyes.
mm.
When Obi-Wan's lightsaber is reflecting on Anakin's face, his eyeball is a normal eyeball.
Mm.
But then as soon as Vader lifts his lightsaber and it turns red on his face, he gets the
It's
yellow
the
Sith
yellow.
eyes.
Yeah,
And I mean, who even would have thought of that?
yeah,
That's a
pretty
very big
niche.
small detail, but
Yeah, yeah.
something that, again, sort of.
That's a very good spot, actually. I don't think I picked up on that. So
Yeah, no, it's just those little touches are, for me, the
they're
attention to
great.
detail,
Mm,
really, really, really good. So,
mm,
I mean, I'm sure we'll have to come back to this on another podcast, the
yeah,
actual fight, because I think it was excellent, and I really
yeah.
want to look into it a bit more.
Do you feel like that's where the series peaked? Or
Um, I think
actually, let's not get
let's
into
save
that.
that
Let's
for
save
another
that.
show. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's just talk about the
yeah,
episode, because I need to watch it a couple more times, I think,
yeah.
so I can
Fair
answer
enough. Yeah,
deep
yeah.
questions like that.
um, yeah, and then obviously Vader's then too weak to carry on. Obi-Wan
Just leaves
heads off. He
him.
leaves him.
Yeah,
Doesn't want to finish the job. He just wants to leave him to it.
yeah.
Um,
Do you think that's a mistake on Obi-Wan's part? Should he have killed Vader? I mean, obviously he couldn't, because we know he sees him again in the
yeah.
future. But could you argue that was a mistake? Or
I don't think he wants to. I don't
no,
think
I
he
don't think he
wants to,
wants
does
to.
he?
No,
Because
no.
he still sees Anakin in there.
Yeah, well, even if he doesn't anymore, which I don't think I think he's leaning more on the side of he's gone now. He
Mm,
probably wants to let him suffer now,
yeah,
because of what he's done. So yeah, just leaving him, actually thinking about it, it was quite a nice touch.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was yeah, I can't say enough good things about that.
So
And of
let's
course,
go on.
no, I was going to say, of course, while this is all happening, intercut with all of that is
Yeah,
Reva coming to the homestead on Tatooine.
yeah.
So what
So
did you think of that?
well, yeah, I was going to. So essentially, we've discussed that Vader Obi-Wan story. So let's sort of move on to the Reva
Yeah.
part of the episode now. So you said something to me when got she first landed down and she was asking to, you know, to find Owen.
Yeah.
What was it you said? There was a
Oh,
character that appeared.
there was a character. I know I'm wrong. After looking at it again, I'm
Oh,
definitely wrong. But
okay.
the guy who was sowing water,
Yeah.
immediately I thought, oh, is that Kitster from the Phantom Menace, who was Anakin's little friend?
No.
I don't know if you remember him, but he was one of Anakin's little friends from Episode 1. And I
Right.
thought there's been a joke going around for years, where's Kitster, that was brought up by I think it started with Rebel Force Radio, another Star Wars podcast, and
Yeah.
they started a campaign of where's Kitster, and then I think Lucasfilm actually did it themselves with the Star Wars show online, and they did a where's Kitster type thing.
Right. Okay.
And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if they brought
He
Kitster
actually
back?
appeared. Yeah.
And it's been in the back of my mind the whole time that perhaps they might have a sneaky cameo of Kitster. And
Yeah.
my instant reaction when I saw the guy who was on the stool who
Yeah.
was being questioned, I thought, is that Kitster? Because he did look a little teeny weeny bit like the actor. And now he's aged up. He's probably in his late 30s,
Yeah.
early 30s now. But
Yeah.
I don't think it was, though. It was just wishful thinking from me.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's asking for Owen. Yeah. The one thing that I would say, the water dealer or whatever, the guy on the stool,
Yeah.
goes to tell Owen that she's coming.
Hmm.
We know that. Okay, we know she's weak. Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there to fix the issue, that she could have just Jedi, used her Jedi mind stealing trick to find out.
Who's
Really,
to say she didn't know?
yeah, yeah.
Because she knows, obviously, but when we see her next, she's on her way to
On
the
her way
farm.
there, I suppose. Yeah.
So maybe the guy has said, look, she read my mind, but we never saw that, so it was off camera. So possibly that could have been what happened. I doubt he probably just told her. He might have done, but,
don't know.
Yeah.
We won't know that bit, but
We won't know that, but it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, I suppose.
no. I suppose, yeah, she would have made her move at night no matter what. So
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
The scene itself, for me, it was okay.
Yeah.
I don't think Owen's going to stand much chance against a Jedi or whatever she is.
Wasn't it great, though, that as soon as Owen got back to the farm, it wasn't Owen who took charge, it was Baru.
Yeah.
She was like, right,
we're gonna fight her.
and he was kind of like, okay.
Yeah. We need to leave. No, we're not leaving.
No, I thought that was quite cool, because obviously she's we don't see very much of either of them really in episode 4, but it's kind of a cool little twist that actually she's the hardcore one. She's the one that sorts the business out, even though he comes off as the grumpy one. She's actually the one that takes charge, so I quite like that. It was also great to see the homestead and all the little rooms.
I was going to say, when they went down there, the set, like you said it in the whilst we were watching, the set was pretty much perfect. It was spot on.
It was great, and it looked really fresh. So they'd obviously built it. It wasn't done on the volume, I don't think. It was actually a proper set, so that was really nice. And there was the little room where they all have a drink and a conversation in episode 4 that was there. And I'm fairly sure that walkway into that room where Luke was hiding was a room that we perhaps saw in episode 4. So there was a couple of little callbacks to episode 4 in terms of sets, so that was really nice.
Yeah.
But as you say, you know, Owen and Beru were never going to be able to put up much of a fight against Reva.
I feel like they did a pretty good job against her.
Yeah. And as you say, if she wasn't as injured, I would have expected them perhaps to have been taken out a little bit more easily. But they did definitely play up the fact that she was really badly injured, as you'd expect, having just been impaled with a lightsaber about 24 hours earlier.
Oh yeah, we don't really know the time scale, but
no,
it's going to take a bit of time to recover from that, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then she gets past them, chases Luke out into the desert. What were your thoughts about that little scene?
I mean, I'll be totally honest with you. I could have done with Reva perhaps being taken out in the last episode and none of that really happening in the episode. I don't think it really needed it.
I probably agree with you there.
Yeah, I think the only purpose it probably, well, two purposes it could possibly have had was enabling Owen to realize, okay, perhaps we do need Obi-Wan not here all the time, but close by just in case something happens, which enabled Owen to say, would you like to meet him? And the second thing would be to perhaps set up a redemption arc for Reva in I don't know, a spin-off show or something like that.
Yeah. Well, that was my thought on the matter. Like, obviously she had the flashback to when she was a youngling or Padawan, and she saw her fate. She saw that in Luke, and she obviously couldn't go through with it.
No.
It was fine. I mean, when she brought them back, you could see they were obviously concerned, but I don't feel like there was enough concern that she just brought him back in her arms.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have thought they would have gone into attack mode almost.
Yes.
Thinking that he would have, she's offed him.
Yeah. I see what you're saying, but it's just one of those little things that you kind of go, oh yeah, you would have done that. But perhaps they were thinking, if we miss and hit Luke, maybe he is still alive. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a tricky one. I just thought that was a bit.
Yeah.
Like you say, you could have almost left it out of the episode in a way and had her perish in the previous episode.
Yeah, I mean, it was it was fine. It was fine. It didn't ruin the show for me. It didn't ruin the episode for me. It was absolutely fine. I quite enjoyed it. It just, but when you've got Vader and Obi-Wan facing off and you've got that, of course you're naturally going to be, Vader and Obi-Wan. It's like that meme, isn't it? That picture of the guy with his girlfriend, so the girlfriend is Reva, and the other girl's walking past, and the guy's looking back. That's Darth Vader and Obi-Wan, isn't it? It's kind of like,
you're right.
I mean, it was fine. It was fine. I think it served the purpose to sort of, as I said, to make Obi-Wan a bit more closer to Luke for episode 4. So Luke was aware of him and had met him a couple of times, but they weren't complete strangers, and that was about it, really.
So I think we've jumped around a little bit, but we'll get to we spoke about on the pre-finale chat, we said about our wants, and Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
The Emperor made his appearance, and it was a very good appearance, actually.
It was.
What he had to say was very relevant, I thought.
It was very, very, very relevant to what something similar he said in The Empire Strikes Back to Vader, in terms of, are you sure your feelings on this matter are clear? Oh no, sorry, Return of the Jedi. Are you sure your feelings on this matter are clear, Lord Vader? Just to test that he is still loyal. And I mean, it's always great to see Ian McDiarmid. It's always great to see the Emperor, Darth Sidious. The makeup was definitely Emperor from Return of the Jedi makeup, not Darth Sidious from the prequels makeup. He's definitely treated his burns a little bit, let's say. But I mean, I don't want to. There's a couple of other. I mean, it was great. It was something I really wanted to see. It was a great conversation. It's always great to see Mustafa, as I've said in previous episodes. But there was a couple of other main things I probably would. I know we're running out of time, so I kind of want to get to first.
Yeah.
Unless you've got anything to say about Sidious.
No, I was
Okay,
good.
well, the first thing is Obi-Wan going back to Alderaan to see Leia and bringing Lola back.
Yeah.
That scene basically, for me, brought out how important Leia was to this series. At first, I was kind of like, "Oh, you're bringing Leia into it? Okay." But by the end of this series and this episode, I think it was essential Leia being in it. I mean, and his conversation with Leia about how you can never say to anybody, you know, that you knew me and you must keep it a secret.
Yeah.
I think I predicted, didn't I, that perhaps he'd do some sort of mind fuzz with her and change it. But actually that works just as well, that he did what he did, I think, in my opinion.
It kind of fixes up the series ready for the original trilogy, I suppose.
Absolutely. And for me, there's the moment when Vader and Obi-Wan are dueling on the Death Star in episode 4, and the Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, they're all just about to get on the Millennium Falcon, and Luke stops and sees Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan realizes that he's got to sacrifice himself to let the others get away. He turns, looks, and he sees Luke, but if you notice in the background of that shot, he sees Leia as well.
Yeah.
And he turns back to Vader and he smiles and then raises his lightsaber and just lets Vader chop him down.
Yeah.
For me, when I watch that scene in the future, it's going to have a whole new meaning to it.
Well, I was going to ask, because obviously I can't remember if Carrie Fisher has a reaction to that.
Well,
I don't
think she's actually looking at him. She's on her way up the Millennium Falcon ramp, and with Han, I'm American, and so I don't think she sees him. However, you know, from previous scenes in the film, we know she knows him. She admits she knows him. You know, Obi-Wan, you know, let's get out. When she gets out of the cell, you know, so she obviously knows him. But the fact that he told her not to say anything explains the message that she leaves for Obi-Wan in case anybody, you know, perhaps intercepts the message R2's got. So, you know, that loosely explains that.
Yeah.
But I just thought, what a lovely relationship Obi-Wan and Leia have in this series.
It was very good. Yeah.
I mean, you could argue it's even better than the relationship that Luke and Obi-Wan have in A New Hope. And I thought it was
they definitely go through a lot more together, don't they?
So, absolutely. And I just loved the scene where he gave her little talk about her father and her mother and told her, you know, and that again,
everything that came from them.
Is in you.
He sees in her.
That was absolutely fantastic. So I mean, I think, you know, we'll probably have more to say about this series and this episode in the future. But the final thing I want to talk about is the moment we've been waiting for 6 episodes. Qui-Gon Jinn. Qui-Gon Jinn finally shows up at the end. What a great scene.
Nice little cameo.
Yeah. I was always here, Obi-Wan.
So you were saying that you weren't bothered about a second series, and then you said in the watch along, maybe we could have a second series of just them two.
I mean, in my mind, when he turned around and said, "We've got a long walk ahead of us," at the end, or something along those lines, I was like, "Yeah, that'll do." Second season of just them walking to his new building or his new home, and just them two chatting. That's fine. That's all I need. But yeah, what was his when he finally saw him? He said,
"Took you long enough."
Took you long enough, but I was always here, Obi-Wan, but you just weren't able to see me.
You weren't ready to see me, or
something. I mean, whatever it was perfect. Perfect sort of
explained
Jedi.
Why he wasn't. Yeah, it just explains the whole series. Every time he tried to communicate with him, and he couldn't get anything.
And it's scenes like that for me, you can take. You know, this is the perfect show. No. Is it a brilliant show? Absolutely, yes. But it's a brilliant show because it has these great scenes, but it has these little character moments and little callbacks to the prequels and the sequel and the original trilogy.
The original. Yeah.
Nearly said a naughty word. And yeah, so I mean, it was absolutely brilliant. And overall, after just the one viewing of that last episode, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Well, we won't bother doing any Easter eggs until we've seen it a few times. I think we're going to have a series breakdown, a little review of the series as a whole. In our next episode, but for now we'll leave it at that.
Absolutely.
I think
I've got a couple of really good friends who are also Star Wars super fans that I'm hoping we can get on at the same time, because I think they'll have very differing opinions to me. So it'd be nice to have different opinions from all spectrums. So
and I'm just a casual Star Wars fan, really, and on the grand scheme of things, I'm a very casual Star Wars fan in comparison to you, possibly your friends. So like, it's all a big insight to me.
It's
great.
I mean,
I enjoy listening to it. So
have some questions ready for us.
Okay, I'll give it a go.
And in the comments below.
Yes, if you have any comments, drop them in below. Any thoughts, anything you want to say, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. That's it. We'll catch you later.
Yep. See you next time.
Cheers.